So old mate only just got this car. He did a car swap, but he did a bad swap. So he's asked me to look at a few things: central locking, a tail light's already fixed up yesterday. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the door hanging, because really I should be removing the bottom skirting to get access to the bottom of the guard. Take off the bumper, take the guard off to get access to the top hinge behind here, so you can make the adjustment on the door. Now what I'm going to do is try not to do that, because there's a lot of work involved just to get to that hinge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inner shielding off. So I got to jack the car up, take the wheel off, take the inner shielding off, and see if I have access from with an open end or a ring spanner to get access to those two 12mm bolts from the other side. Because if I try and do it from this side, I would have to customize it to, go for a bit of a weird shape, and then I'd only have the smallest amount of maneuverability, and I'd probably spend an hour on a bolt. Now, it's not worth the effort going that way. I also tried to look at it this way, and you just can't get to them from this way here. So my only other option is to remove that inner guard. Now I could undo the top of the guard and pull it out a bit, but not with the inner protection on, because that's pressed against with those rubber grommets against the frame and against the guard, so that still has to come off. And then I might be able to undo the top of the guard and pull it out just enough to get to that hinge. I'm not sure. This is just I'm trying to work around not having to take the bumper and everything off. So we'll see how we go. Tell you what's a pet hate of mine though, lowered cars. They're a real pain to work on. I really don't know how you guys who lower cars get a flat tyre on the side of the road and be able to change a flat tyre. I was asked recently about my Falcon, where's the jacking points, where's the points that I would jack from. Now this is basically a rule from any car. Now you get under there, and obviously you wouldn't put a jack underneath that, because you can tell that's already too thin. You go under points like this where it's nice and solid. So anywhere you can find a solid place like that, from the front, the rear, wherever, that's where you jack from. Not anywhere it's weak. Like you wouldn't jack from here, you wouldn't jack from there, or from there. Any car's the same. You go to the strong point, and that's where you jack from. Now I use trolley jacks all the time. I don't use scissor jacks, but if you're using a scissor jacks, there is jacking points for scissor jacks. But I couldn't be bothered with scissor jacks, so always carry a trolley jack. Anyway, so that's pretty much answer to any car. So obviously you can tell that I've driven up on bricks so I can get my trolley jack underneath. I'm going to pick on this car a lot. So another thing, whoever did this, all they did was cut the spring. That shouldn't move with the wheel jacked up, or with the car jacked up, I mean. So it's got normal struts. That's why the wheel is dropping so much here, because of the height, and the spring sits loose in there. This is just a death trap. And the camber keeps changing on this wheel as well. When you're driving, you notice when you turn right, it's got to pull to the right, and when you make a left turn, it's got to pull to the left. Because the camera on this, I noticed when I was jacking it up, it came right out until it got to a certain height and then straightened up again. So there's something going on there as well, not what I'm looking at today. Yeah, don't do this. And this also explains why when you drive the car, every time you go over a little bump, it's like the whole car just dong, dong, dong. It's because the strut is just pushed all the way down. Don't do that, please. Alright, so you can see what I mean. You've got the grommets going against the body over there, and then up here against the guard and so forth, and down here. So when you try to undo it if I was to undo the guard from the top and try to pull it out, I've got this stopping me. So it has to come off first, and hopefully I can get up there and loosen that hinge off. And of course, safety first. So I've got a trolley jack underneath the car, underneath there, and that's how I've got it supported. One underneath the front there where the strong point is. Handbrake's put on really tight, and I've got the other side back wheel chocked up, so there's not going to be any movement while I'm doing this as well. I can't get a stand underneath there, that's why I'm using the other jack. Okay, just want to show you, I am successful but it doesn't come without its challenges. Getting in there is a bit of a challenge. Turning it wasn't so hard though. So they're loose now. I'm going to scissor jack to pick the back of the door up so we can adjust that mount. So before I go jacking the door up, I just wanted to show you. So I've got the scissor jack underneath there with a bit of cloth so I don't damage the door. I've got a pillow in there, so if the scissor jack tends to go towards the car, the pillow is going to help stop the door from closing. And I'm going to keep jacking up onto these 2 points here, get really close. Now when it gets to that point, you've got to think in advance of things, jobs like this. When it gets to a certain point here, these are going to get really close. So that's when I'm going to put the cardboard in between so I can go further up without damaging any of the door there. That's where I'm at. I probably missed, you could probably tell in the video anyway. I unplugged the light and took it out because it needed more hand space there. And like I said, I could remove this guard, well not remove the guard, undo the top of the guard and bring that out. I might even have to do that, tighten it back up yet, I don't know. But that's as high as I'm going to go there. I can feel that the door is solid. I can't really pick it up anymore by hand myself. I've got the cardboard in there, so the door's safe and it's pretty close there. I could go a little bit closer, but I just want to try it there first and see how it goes. I think it should be fine because the hinge itself obviously has a bit of slack, that's why the door's hanging. So going up a little bit more than I need here should compensate for the hinge slacking off over there. So here's hoping. Alright, so moment of truth, I've got one bolt tightened up now. I'm going to lower the door and hopefully that's what I have to do and tighten the other bolt up. Okay, so the door does close now without having too much drama. But, so that's fixed it up. But the door is still lower than it should be. However, this hinge, you can't see it, but it's hitting here. Whoops, sorry. It's hitting here now instead of in the top or in the middle. So that means that this needs to be adjusted now if that's movable. So I'll see if I can loosen it off and move it up a little bit, and that will help that door close properly, because you can see it pulls down now. I don't know if you can see that. The door's pulling down, so that hinge needs to be up. See how that hinge is now lower than the door? So that hinge needs to be adjusted now. But I could tighten the door up now and the door functions now. So my efforts have worked, but I would have preferred the door to be up higher. Possibly will be if that hinge is adjustable. Well, there you go. I swapped out the one from the left hand side and it didn't really make any difference, but I was able to get in there and adjust it by turning it like this and then tighten it back up to get by turning it, it changed the angle or the height of that there, and now beautiful, like I bought one. Tighten up that hinge now and should be happy days. Nice. Alrighty, job's done. The door, no more having to try and pick it up as you close it, which was really painful to do. Okay, and one last thing I forgot to mention was those bolts are not 12, they're 13mm. Thanks for watching guys, catch us on the next one, cheers.